In today's meditation, we're going to do a long spiritual empowerment session. I'm going to count back from 100 to 90, at which point we're all going to be in a very deep quietude, an open space, as though we were never here in the phenomenological world, the material world. Because all of us who are spiritual are highly conscious that we're never really here. We've given ourselves to this cause through divine agency, and to God and the angels in heaven, the teachers, our dearly departed, my mom, my friends, my teacher, Kathleen, all my people that I've known over the years, from the mountains and the Himalayas to the jungles and deserts of places that I've visited for spiritual reasons and other. They're always here with us. They are our larger self. In this scripture they said, for we are compassed about with such a great cloud of witnesses. In other words, nothing to worry about. I think that's in Hebrews or something. We feel the presence of the dearly beloved. You have a family home and you'll see the pictures of the grandma or great aunt and granddad and the family when they're young, and you get the sense of the presence. You're not locked in on the material relationships you had and the problems you might have even had a dislike for each other or distrust. All that is gone. It's vaporous, it's nothing. So I say cloud of witnesses, like in the Bible. And today we're going to be our own witness in our own life. And in doing that, stepping back, it's what meditation, prayer, reflection, contemplation are all about. Disappearing right through the material self, which we took on at birth. Again, we're God's hero. There's nothing wrong with us. Sin in the scripture simply meant separation from God. If you look back at the original Aramaic and so forth, they're just all these people that gave us the Holy Scripture. All the holy books of the world were mostly desert people who were very graciously and consciously, despite all the horrors of everyday living, which were worse than they are today, believe it or not, they spent so much time contemplating their higher self, the inner self, the God self, the divine within. That's who you are. That's why you feel such beauty when you are wrapped in awe with great art, architecture, church steeple. I remember making a beautiful little, out of wood. I had a farm in West Virginia, maybe 1970. We bought a big farm out there, and for my buddy's son, little son, I made a table and chair out of wood, and it was such to get away from the everyday work, it was such a joy to do something with love, you see? So what we do with love, who we love, is unimportant, or what we do is unimportant, but that we love. And love, not a needing, is a quiet presence that passes through us. Lighter than air, more beautiful than sunlight, more rapturous than the feel of diamonds and gold and pearls and emeralds and all precious things. The human soul, again, when we see the picture of an aunt and someone who's thus gone, we just remember the beautiful presence of it. The whole point of what was just said is that we are not the physical body. That is the temptation. For we who are mystical, we know that our body is not our real self. Sure, we fall in love with someone, two people are touching that higher sense. But when you fall in love quietly, like the great ascetics back in the deserts, with the writing of the Holy Scripture, they were very quiet people. Very, very powerful, very manly, like my buddy Greg Escolta here, just absolutely true to life, and yet has a family, runs a business, and so on. So you don't have to evade your responsibilities. You have to do them with a pure intent, kindness. It's not weakness. That's a different word. I remember living with my Tibetan buddies in the mountains there in Nepal mostly, and they were so powerful, so strong. And yet people think they're just monks, they're nonviolent. No, it's nothing like that. They're all have the same toughness that Greg has. 10th degree martial artist, 50 years teaching martial arts besides everything else. World champion many, many times in that and other things. They each had their gifts and responsibilities, and yet through deep prayer and reflection, like our friends back in the desert of Judea, they had a purity of oneness with God. They were their higher self. It's a softness, a completeness, a fineness. And in the center of it, you'll find a compassion that's infinitely painful and wonderful. We're here for a reason. There's nothing wrong with us. We're kind, we're true. Our intention is always good. And yet we're trapped with two or three beings that are tempted by the devil in different ways. The devil, this infinitesimal little, I don't know what to call him, I have no good words for it, but I don't care. I have no sensitivity to it, because if you did, then you couldn't work with people. Do you understand? You have to be completely quiet, non-reactive to people. That's what my Tibetan buddies had, what the great ascetics in the desert had, who gave us the scripture and so on. It takes years of practice. We're born there, but being in a body at a time where we have to take that responsibility, which is all of it is bad. There's nothing good about being a human being in a world. God tries to meet us through the tops of the trees and the beauty of the flowers and the sounds of the waves hitting the beach. But we're forever walking betwixt the sand and the foam, waiting for that one wave to bring the ocean in and take us home. And take us back to the other shore. And we get there through not taking part in the everyday world, in our consciousness. Like Greg teaches little children here all day, 30, 50 children, to do martial arts. But he does it with a heart and a soul and a sensitivity. Each person is built up a little stronger, a little stronger. And every discipline brings us there. My friends in Tibet again, they, under the worst imaginable conditions, were completely quiet inside. I hope I'm getting across to you like this. So don't worry about the temptations that hit us day and night. Stay here. You are the quiet. You're God's presence in a hell. If we don't give it anything, if we don't react to it, then we can teach and inspire those we love and find worthy to not react to it, to give it nothing, to stay here in the quiet. As the ascetics did. When Paul said the scripture was written in a mystery, it meant that you had to be spiritual to understand it. I never get a discussion of these things with anyone, but for those reasons, being a mystic, being spiritual, you understand these things without having to read anything or even learn anything. This is the birthplace of God in our life, the human heart, the human you, the human us, the human that's here to take back all territory in His name. Through your grace and your dignity and your beauty and your intelligence and your ability to use these many gifts we have as a spiritual friend to all good people, That means we have to be as tough as Greg in our heart and soul, and even physically. We have to be made of a kind of iron to not react, to be there for the other guy, always. You're a teacher, a way shower, a saint, a holy one. You're a gift to this hell. It's a hellscape. We dropped in here of our own volition. Again, sin meaning separation from God. We allowed ourselves to be this thing. We're not this thing. We are God's best friend. It's so unimaginably complex, the relationship we have emotionally, psychologically, in our perception of what God is and who we are. And simply remembering these words, reading a quote of Gibran, or looking at a historically beautiful, magnificent painting on a museum wall, and being taken into that grace and dignity of beauty of an artist who gave their life to recreate the beauty they felt within. Imagine such a thing. True art, what you appreciate, you are, you become, it is you. And we're all searching for that. Some are not, and that's certainly okay. And that's part of this thought for today, this empowerment session that we have together. We're one presence of God. There are not two people. I think someone called it the oversoul, this part of us that actually is still in heaven. And that's what meditation and reflection and contemplation are about. Reuniting completely with that, though we're under the gun every moment, aren't we here? It's an ever-spinning wheel of temptations. It's like the shadows on the wall that Socrates told us about. Remember? Socrates, Plato, Jesus Christ, the Buddha. Remember your friends. They remember you, always. You're that, not this. It's very simple. The point being, there is a higher self that's incredibly delicate and pure and wonderful. I remember meeting my friend Kathleen Judge, who I consider my teacher in my life. I couldn't look at her when she was walking by the coffee shop in Palo Alto. What the hell? I was in the morning having my morning cup of Sumatra and go back. And this young lady, thin lady would walk by, and I couldn't look at her. She had these jeans on, and I could look at the lower thigh of the jeans, and I couldn't look. It was this divine sense of utter humility, like beyond anything I've had. And I've had it all my life, which is, oh my gosh. So just meeting her for a short amount of time, she put my life together, made it work. And I knew for a long time I was going to meet this person, but it's when you meet someone that precious in your life. And I've met thousands of people of that sense. Kathleen is the one that gave me everything to walk this far. It's very difficult. We need our mom's presence behind us, don't we? We need love and care and believe. We need to sanctify everything around us and in us and of us, don't we? Remember always, you're here of your own volition. We simply don't give anything to the lower perceptions, the lower self, and we'll get there. And we'll bring there here, and there won't be a here anymore. So help me God. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Skolden.